Welcome to Forum 360, where our focus is a global outlook from a local view on your PBS channel. I am Leah Love, your host today. So it's the end of the year, and as a business owner or a potential business owner, you might feel like you're overwhelmed, like you're exhausted, and you're not sure what your next step should be. So I have two savvy business owners who are going to explain some of the best tips to be successful in 2018. This is Ashira Nelson of Savvy Girl Money. She is a YouTube blogger and a CPA.
Yes.
And we have Miss Dashika Wells, who owns VineWorks Marketing, and now the official B.A.B.E magazine as well. So they're going to talk to us today, and we will look forward to getting our tips. So tell me a little bit about your business and how long you've been a business owner.
So from the aspect of a YouTuber, I have been YouTubing since March. I'm a CPA. I've been doing that for about 6 years now.
Okay.
And from the aspect of work and in my community, I saw a lack in financial literacy. So I wanted to take the knowledge that I learned from work and apply it and help individuals in my community to use these skills that I was using at work.
Great.
For myself, I've been in business about 4 years. Very much the same as Ashira here. I saw a need for marketing in the community. I was really interested in startup businesses and what the implications were and kind of the success rates and things like that. And I wanted to see what I can do to help those businesses succeed past the 5-year kind of mark of death, which a lot of small businesses or startups fail within the first 5 years. And marketing is one of the leading causes of that failure or lack of marketing. It's kind of the first thing to go when businesses start up. So I said, well, what can I do to work with these businesses to help them, maintain longevity, sustainability, and things like that? And so that's where VineWorks came in, VineWorks Marketing. And then taking it a step further, like you with your YouTube channel, I saw the need for more information. With myself and talking to business colleagues and things like that, there were a lot of missing links when it came to entrepreneurship and starting a business. It's kind of that fake it till you make it mentality, kind of piecing things together day by day. And so I saw a lot of holes with financial literacy being one of them, branding, marketing, balancing work and family and things like that. So that's what Official B.A.B.E magazine does for the community. It's geared towards African American females who are starting up businesses or considering starting a business, and it's providing those missing links to information that's needed to sustain the business idea.
Good. Okay, so Dashika, let's say someone is thinking about entrepreneurship, and given the knowledge that you have gained over 4 years, you said? 4 years. What would you share with someone just now considering entrepreneurship?
Man, first off, I would say really hone in on what the needs are, what you have that you can provide to satisfy a need that someone has, and really dive deep to the point where you can almost assign a name to that individual. So this is kind of branding 101, where you go in and you say, okay, I have this business idea. I think it's great. Let me talk to a couple friends and kind of work the kinks out of it. Then you hone it down to that 1 or 2 things that's considered your niche. And then identify the customer that needs that item, no matter what industry it is. Think about what that means. Where do they live? How do they shop? What are their buying behaviors? What is their family dynamic? Do they have children? Are they single? Are they a millennial? Are they a boomer? Think about those types of things so that you can precisely meet the needs of that customer. So I guess to sum it up, I would say develop intimate knowledge of who your customer is, and then take steps to move forward in business and making connections with professionals and so forth.
Great. So Ashira, how did you know that going into accounting work was right for you? And as far as being a YouTuber, how did you know that this was the right steps that you needed to take?
I knew it was the right steps I needed to take because no one in my family or in my community where I grew up was a CPA. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have anyone to lean on. I didn't have anyone to go to for advice, class help, nothing. So I wanted to be the person I felt like I needed. I wanted to be that person in my community. I wanted to be that person for every young girl, every small business owner who kind of feel the lack of financial literacy. I just wanted to be her for my community and other young women.
Great. How do you stay focused on one idea and not jump around and lose your focus either?
So at the beginning of every year, I make sure I create a vision for the year, create a plan, and I just remind myself of that plan throughout the year. Because especially with social media, it can sometimes make you feel like you are behind. But I try to remember that sometimes that's that person's day 101, and this is my day 5. Allow myself to grow and get to that point. Don't rush the process, because you need these days to really learn and grow.
Same here. Developing a lane and sticking with it. Being true to who you are. Being true to the kind of those core values that you started when you started your company, and reminding yourself of that for sure. For me, at the end of every year, I do a vision. I do a vision board. Probably October through December is just kind of nuts for me. I start kind of doing this kind of mental inventory of what worked well last year, what didn't, what do I want to put extra focus on? What do my customers need? How can I better meet their needs? And those sorts of things. And keeping all those things in mind keeps me plenty busy. I do generate new ideas and things like that, but I talk with friends, some in the same industry as me, just to kind of get that extra experience. I don't want to kind of be in a tunnel all by myself, but then others outside of my industry, so that I'm being mindful that there's a whole world around me and what are the implications to the overall good of everyone. And doing that really helps me to kind of stay focused and kind of edit my own thoughts, because as an entrepreneur, you have this kind of this urge to just think all the time and want to bring about new things. But I write them down too, because maybe today is not the time for that idea, but maybe later on, a year or so might be.
So in this time, what has been some of your biggest challenges, and how have you turned them into strengths for your business?
So some of my biggest challenges, I'd say, is, like Ashira mentioned, you kind of hit the nail on the head with not having resources or information. And very much like she did, that's why I came with the magazine. I wanted to be that resource for other people. And fortunately for me, I was able to pull 14 other women from across the United States to help bring this mission forward. So it's a digital magazine. It can touch and reach anyone, anywhere. And so that has kind of been my remedy to that problem, but initially was lack of education in certain areas. Of course, I had my schooling and my own experiences, but when it came to finance, I'm not a CPA. I didn't know, things about balancing books and doing taxes and all of this other stuff, and various other business areas that I didn't quite have that insight into. Having to learn it along the way, being very vulnerable sometimes, having to trust people that I didn't know to do certain things for me. So that's one of the things that probably was my most challenging thing to kind of overcome. And fortunately, I've been able to work with a lot of great individuals and get insight. And now I have kind of a team of women pouring that insight out.
Okay, so my biggest challenge has been, because I am a YouTuber, just being vulnerable, like being relatable, just opening up so people can understand my life, understand the growth. Because sometimes people only see on the internet the things you want them to see, the beautiful side of things. So on my YouTube channel, I try to be versatile. I try to tell about a problem that's going on in my life, how I fixed the problem, and how we got to this beautiful picture you see online. It didn't start here. So I just try to open up, be vulnerable as much as possible. And that was hard at first, because you only want to show the beautiful side. You don't want to show the struggle. So that was my biggest challenge in the beginning.
Yes. To piggyback off of that, a lot of people think that the people that they see and that they look up to, it was an overnight success. And it's just because they found them today. And so they're like, oh my gosh, so what would you tell to people who have that kind of false reality of, I'm going to start my business, I'm going to have all these customers, and tomorrow it's going to be great?
That is not the true reality of being an entrepreneur. Allow yourself time to learn and grow. Things will not be perfect in the beginning. Just get started and learn. Go through, like you said, you didn't have all the knowledge you had before. Learn, find someone who do know. Go on YouTube, find different things and books that can help you, like truly dig deep and learn what you don't know.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There is no such thing as an overnight success. In entrepreneurship, I try to explain to some people sometimes, because we do paint a pretty picture. You want to show your best as a business owner, because that's how you feel, that's how you're going to get new clients or new opportunities and so forth. But at the end of the day, all the struggle that went into making that day or painting that picture. And so I try to share that as much as possible, being vulnerable, opening up and showing the nitty gritty of what's going on, especially in social media. That's a great outlet for that, because people want to know the story behind the brand. But yeah, allow yourself to grow for sure. I was in a meeting one day and someone said, and I cannot recall who, but if you expect for your dream to take place or to come into fruition during your lifetime, then you're not dreaming big enough. So think outside the box. Really know that it's stepping stones to where you want to go. This is not the end all be all, but you're leaving a legacy. You're building something for all to enjoy in some way, whoever your customer is or your family and those sorts of things. And with that being said, give yourself the space in the room to let that thing develop.
Thank you for joining us again. We are here with Ashira Nelson of Savvy Girl Money, and she is also a CPA and YouTuber. And we have Dashika Wells of VineWorks Marketing and Official B.A.B.E Magazine.
Official B.A.B.E Magazine.
Okay, so tell me, how do you calculate, and I guess we kind of did this a little bit, but how do you calculate your moves and make future projections for your business?
So a little bit of what we touched on earlier, at the end of every year, I turn into kind of this mad woman where I'm just really filtering through my thoughts. What do I want to do differently? What do I want to increase next year as far as opportunities, stretch myself, get out of my comfort zone and things like that? And then what new technologies and things like that are there that I might be able to offer to my clients? Outside of that, I really just... I take inventory of all of those things and try to find out where there's room for me to be my greatest. I feel like everybody should work in their area of most fulfillment. And with that being said, I look at all of these things on the table. Like, I can go down this lane with new technology and introduce this to, XYZ person, but how am I going to be fulfilled? Because that's what's going to allow me to pour the most into it for them. So I kind of take those things into consideration.
Now, Ashira, how can business owners be more organized in the new year?
In the new year, I feel like more business owners should utilize apps. We are so on the go. Utilize apps like FreshBook and QuickBook. They even have payroll apps. Utilize these things because we're not always sitting in the office. If you purchase a business expense, take a picture of that receipt, just in case you lose it. You want to make sure for your taxes or just staying organized that you have these items. So utilize the on-the-go features that you already use to stay organized within your business.
Okay, and then how do you further your education and training skills to stay ahead of others?
Well, as a CPA, I have to have continuing education classes. I have to do a minimum of about 20 hours each year, and over a course of 3 years, I have to have 120 continuing education hours. I do those through my job, and I also take online webinars. I go to YouTube if I have a question. With the tax new update, I went to YouTube to find out a lot. I read articles. I just make sure I stay in tune and just keep my skills fresh. Yes.
And one of the areas with entrepreneurs, I think sometimes they kind of miss is investing in themselves. Can you speak and elaborate on that as well as?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I make sure I do is take time out for myself, a reprieve. Every once in a while, probably about every 3 months, I'll take a weekend and just shut completely down, unplug from everything, and really allow myself to clear my mind, clear my thoughts, because I'm so engaged in other people's businesses and other people's visions. So in order for me to stay true to who I am and really be in tune with those things that I wrote on a vision board or those goals that I set at the beginning of the year, I need that to really kind of get back in touch with that. But then also investing in myself, I look at different ways that I can again, stretch myself. Being outside of my comfort zone, that is like one of the ground rules to being successful in business, is stepping out of your comfort zone. And that's one of the greatest investments that you can make in yourself as an entrepreneur. Because if you don't, then you don't have that education. You're not aware of what's going on around you. I stay in tune with, I'm very active in social media. I do a lot of webinars. I do a lot of conferences and things like that. And outside of the things that directly interest me or apply to my area of work, I attend a lot of meetings that have nothing to do with what I do, just so that I stay well-rounded. I'm able to engage in conversation with people. I never know where I'm going to be, who I'm going to meet. A current event might come up, some topic on engineering might happen, and now I just moved offices, and I'm in there with a lot of engineers. There's things I may, I want to have coffee with them someday, and I don't want to feel like we're from different planets. And so those things to me are also investing in yourself, because it broadens your reach when it comes to engaging with others. And in my business, and I'm sure in yours as well, engagement is everything. Yes. Building those relationships is everything, and having that ground level of trust, and I feel like that's the best way to achieve that.
Okay, what role does brand consciousness play in the success of your company?
Oh my gosh, 100%. I am very, very aware of my brand at all times. What that looks like, everything that I do, what does that say for my brand? I keep myself as much as I can separate from my brand, because I do want to have my own life and be seen as an individual outside of my business. But from a business perspective, every letter that you write, every email that you write, be aware that that is, a reflection of who your company is and what it stands for. Everything that you put out on social media, for sure, being aware that that is representative of your company. Being conscious of what colors I'm using when I'm formatting a post for social media, what text and font, things like that matter. The language that I'm using, a lot of how my business presents itself is kind of suit and tie, or briefcase, if you will, where some industries can be a little bit more relaxed and more fun and free. I'm sure you probably have a more, more conservative approach to your business as well. And thinking about those things and keeping them in mind when you're engaging with others, when you're posting things on social media, when you're writing an email to someone, when you're out hanging out and just taking pictures and things like that, really being aware of what that means to your business, because all those things surface at some point. And not to say that anyone's doing anything that they would not be proud of, but just putting your best foot forward at all times when it comes to your brand, and exemplifying excellence in everything that you do. When you put out, take the extra minute to do the spell check, and those sorts of things, because they matter.
Yes. So it's the beginning of the year.
Yes.
And everybody is concerned about getting their taxes done. So what tips do you have for them as far as some extra write-offs or additional things that they can take on their taxes, as well as if they are freaking out about this new tax reform plan that we have with the new administration?
Okay, so additional tax tips as it relates to being an entrepreneur, contractor, just working from home. Make sure you figure out if you can take advantage of a home office deduction. A lot of people can. If you're working from home, you can deduct some of those expenses. So my best advice is to small business owner, deduct those items, keep your receipts, just keep things simple, and just have a record for everything you want to deduct. And to talk on the new Trump taxes or new tax laws, the goal of Trump's administration is to kind of reduce the taxes for small businesses. I'm not sure, and I'm not really in a belief that it will actually happen, but that's his goal. Currently, a lot of small business owners, depending on their net income, is paying 39.6% in taxes, but he wants to reduce that down to 15% in the hopes of really boosting the economy. So I'm not 100% certain that his plan is going to work. With the hopes of, as a small business owner, you're paying less in taxes. So you're gonna create new jobs and you're gonna pay your people more. But if these small business owners are not doing that, the plan is gonna fail 100%, so.
Good to know. So how did you build your discipline at the beginning?
Honestly, I have just always been a disciplined person from school, just super disciplined. I don't know how I got these traits, but I always live my life based on like rules in a way. And I just kind of stuck to those things. And I remember being in college, I always told myself Monday through Thursday, absolutely no going out. And I stuck to it. You want to go out, you have to work till Friday. No matter, because honestly in college, a lot of people go out Thursday nights, but I just would never allow myself. I just stuck to my rules. I just remember why I was there, what goals I had, and I now doing the same thing in my business, on my YouTube channel, just sticking to the rules that I set in place.
And Ashika, how do you develop your strategic alignments and partnerships for your business?
Wow, so that one is definitely relationship building. I'm a person who's just naturally very curious and interested at what people do, how they do it, what makes you happy in your business, and especially when you can see that happiness just permeating from someone. And so when I see that, I talk to a lot of people, I dive in, what do you do? How do you do that? How long have you been doing it? Are you fulfilled? And those types of questions. And just in engaging that way, showing a genuine interest, people open up to you. And with that, if they can be of some help to what you're doing, or you can be of some help to what they're doing, it just kind of clicks naturally. But then oftentimes you also find that they might have a contact that you'd be a perfect fit for, or they might be a perfect fit for someone or could recommend. I make sure that like when I go to networking events and things like that, I'm always saving information, business cards and all that. And I love connecting people with others. Mm-hmm. And just in doing that, brings so much more collaboration opportunities back to me. Not that I'm seeking that, it just kind of opens up the universe in that way. But actually being strategic about it, I look at my goals. What do I want to do? What 5 things have I set out to do this year, or however many things they might be? Who's in my network that I can reach out to for some advice? Who in my network already has experience in this? Who in my network has done something similar or knows someone who has? And then engaging with them, trusting them enough, being vulnerable, to a certain degree, and having that level of trust to where I can express what I want to do and see if they are engaged and want to participate, or if they know somebody that can. And usually 9 times out of 10 it works out to where you can develop some great partnerships, or tag team some great initiatives, and it's worked out really well for me.
Now, do either of you have a favorite business book that has helped you tremendously?
I do. One that I read recently, actually I did the audiobook, was Successful Women Speak Differently by Valerie Burton. And she talks about how just the way you speak, the questions that you ask, how you show up for yourself, even poses that you do. And she encourages us to do power poses in your office or in your favorite chair every once in a while, and how that just kind of naturally opens up the universe around you and brings in new opportunities and opens you up to those, so that you're not closed-minded. You are okay being vulnerable. But at the same time, you recognize your strength as a business owner and what you bring to the table. She talks about the power of negotiation and what that looks like, and how many women don't negotiate things like salary and, contracts and things like that. And it just kind of, for me, it gave me that extra oomph that I needed to know that I can do this, And it's one of those books that kind of sticks with you. So wherever you go, you could be exercising or riding my bike sometimes. But when you do, those little nuggets come back to you, and I found it to be really helpful.
My book I love to read, and I go back to it throughout the years, is his name is Robert Kiyosaki. He has a set of books called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he has a rich stepfather, or really it's his friend's father, and he has a poor father, meaning that his real father really is just a working dad. He was a teacher, and I love how Kiyosaki kind of put things in different perspective from different views. And I remember that in my business. He's teaching me about finance, money, investing, building my business. So I really respect and love him.
Brilliant. Yes. So how can businesses that want future marketing opportunities or CPA advice, how can they contact you guys?
For myself, I can be reached online, VineWorksMarketing.com, also on social media at VineWorks Marketing. If they're interested in kind of in-depth information as far as starting up a business or, getting an already growing business just kind of on the right path, officialbabemag.com, also at officialbabemag on all social media.
Okay.
So you can reach me on social media at savvygirlmoney.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search Savvy Girl Money.
I would like to thank Ashira and Dashika for joining us today and helping us gain a better understanding of how we can take practical steps to better our businesses in 2018. I'm Leah Love, and thank you for joining us today on Forum 360 for a global outlook with a local view.
Forum 360 is brought to you with support from Electric Impulse Communications, Kim and Harvey Nelson, Rubber City Radio Group, Acronist.com, Hudson Cable, Medical Mutual of Ohio, Forum 360 supporters, and the Shaw Jewish Community Center of Akron.